was like, where did this come from? Not her
Bring
father,
in the
not her
goats
mother.
for blood sacrifices.
Yeah. So this episode was like a little bit everywhere, but I didn't feel like there was a lot of like story moving forward. Technically. Oh, I guess the big thing is that Marva died. I should probably mention that. That was like the main point of the episode, which seems like it we never actually saw Marva. It almost feels like, was she like written off?
It's tragic.
Yeah, we didn't see her last words or her dying breath, but we did see how she left B2 emo behind, and it broke his mechanical heart.
It did.
It broke mine too.
Didn't break nothing for me because I didn't feel anything this episode.
Nothing?
Even when he was like, I don't want to be alone.
He's a droid. He's not sentient. As far as I'm concerned, he's just an overglorified
this again.
a coffee table for me.
Wow.
He's shaking that cup.
What's he do? He's just he's just cute.
Yeah, what is his function?
That's what I'm saying. What does he do?
I have been wondering what the utility was. He did something for Andor early on, right? In the first episode or two.
You put your drinks
He was
on.
like handing him something.
A mobile end table.
It did make me love, what's his name,
Brasso.
that much more. I really like that guy.
I was wanting more from him, though.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. He didn't really do enough for me this episode. And then we're introduced to the daughters of Ferrix. Like, they are shown up to Marva's like apartment or whatever, and they're cleaning it up. But it's not clear what they do, what their mission is.
Exactly. And I still gave the Immersive Universe a good score because I thought it did well holding that mystery, but also world building, especially for Ferrix, and like saying how when you die, you become a brick part of the wall, you know, and you now look at that place differently. I was looking at that place differently afterward, just watching like, oh man, where are the bricks? Like, where are the dead people that I think I could point out? And that was cool. Somber in that moment, but yeah, I don't know. What did y'all think? It was setting up things, but
yeah, it didn't really, like I said, it didn't really move the story forward too much. One scene that kind of confused me, even though I've been advocating for more species diversity, we did get that this episode, but that scene was really confusing and hard to understand. I just went back and rewatched it with the subtitles on, and I still don't really understand. Like, Melshi and Andor get slooped up in this like wet net kind of thing, and these two aliens are like fishing.
Avery?
Yeah. and then
I
they
was creeped out.
Yeah.
I was very creeped out.
But then they're like, oh, you escaped from prison? Like, they're soiling our water and making it hard to catch fish. And they're like, no, we're not doing that. That's the Empire. And they're like, well, yeah, everything's the Empire. But then all of a sudden they just like let them go and give them a free ride.
Yeah, he kind of kept rambling, and then he convinced himself to just, all right, we'll take you. Like,
yeah.
I was kind of thrown off. I was like, wait a minute.
They
So
didn't do
they're
anything
okay?
to convince them. Like, they didn't persuade them or anything.
And maybe we're supposed to view that, I don't know, that alien species, that race of like Narkinians, that one had a human-like face, which really creeped me out.
Yeah,
kind of threw
jarring,
me off.
for
Not
sure.
like the other one. So I was like, what is going on here? Like,
You can't look human.
it's
You ain't
just,
human enough to be human.
it was something remiss, but it was cool to see some aliens.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't feel much for this episode. The show is so unbelievably frustrating for me.
Unbelievably frustrating.
Unbelievable.
The whole show?
The whole show at this point.
Okay,
The whole show.
explain.
I just give up with it. Look.
Come on.
No, look. It's a fine show. Okay, it's the best Star Wars TV show, in fact. But when I go back and I look at our rankings for every single episode and all the ratings we've given, this show, I mean, it almost cracked an A on episode 6 with an 89.73.
Which I think was the I episode, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think so.
You're
and
right.
then 87, 86, 83, and then 86 last week when I was gone. and now a 72.93%. So with this episode, I just felt like they were really ramping up just to continue 80 plus streak in a slow start. But I don't know. It's one of those things that you really kind of hate to see. The second to last episode, something you just don't care about. Like there was nothing in here that I'm like, oh my goodness, next week where we're in for it. And that's fine. Like there was some interesting stuff that you like. There's a lot of little things, like, when you see about, what's her face's daughter, Mon Mothma's daughter, and stuff like that. It's neat to learn more about in a bigger episode with a lot more going on with that one detail. But that's what this whole thing felt like. Just a bunch of random details that may or may not pay off for having watched that episode. I don't know. But the whole episode felt like that alien interaction. You're like,
Huh?
all right,
What?
that's cool. And like even the end, they're like, oh, he's in the tractor beam. Oh, I guess it has 5 levels. Oh, I guess he can like destroy the tractor beam. Oh, I guess he can like shoot lasers out of the sides and do all this stuff and just fly on by. I'm like, look, there's totally plausible. It's stupid, but totally plausible. Like
It was cool, and you know it.
it was
Yeah,
dumb.
It was. No, it was cool.
This big old ship
and maybe that's part of like
just took it.
to kind of get back to what you're talking about. I think that's part of the, I don't want to say fault, but fault of the format. Like the first 2 episodes, you kind of have to see those as together,
Yeah.
and they're setting up building. Whereas, the last 2 episodes, I think you're going to have to kind of see those as together. You talked about this last week, Amanda, predicted, part 1 of a part 2 type thing. And that's totally fine yeah, I totally get what you're saying there. I do think one fault was they shouldn't have put Luthen's awesome, badass laser ship in the trailer for this show. Like, at least the laser part. Because it was like...
We
when
knew
the
that was
trailer
coming.
hap-
I
yeah,
did
we knew.
not. I didn't
Yeah.
watch a single trailer for this show.
Hey, well, and that's
Nice.
funny that
It was the first
still
time.
didn't even do it for you.
And it was still boring.
Really?
It's
Like,
just
you weren't
I was
surprised,
like Jack Sparrow.
Oh, lasers.
He's always gonna get away. He's got something for everything.
The minute I saw that Imperial interceptor ship show up, I was like, "Oh, this is when it happens." Like
Nice.
this is when
I
it'll
had
happen.
forgotten about that scene, and I thought that moment in the show was really exciting. It was the most exciting part of this episode for sure.
Mhm.
Seeing it kind of secretly outfitted with all of these bells and whistles, like the little explosive beads or whatever. Like that's a really smart design.
And it's cool he waited till the main tractor beam turned on.
Yeah.
That
Agreed.
just caused further damage.
And like I said, I like the show. I'm not. It's frustrating, but you can be frustrated
Yeah.
at something
Yeah.
and like it. I like this show genuinely, and that's why it was so bothersome to see. Like, I don't know. For me, Andy Serkis's performance was just knocked out of the park, and Andor continues to just be this milquetoast character that you don't
I
care
really
about.
hate when you say that, especially when at the end of the episode, when he finds out that his mom is dead, you see his expression. We sit with his expression for a few seconds, and I feel like you could see the light in his eyes, like, kind of drain. Like, I felt his emotion in that moment, and I think it takes...
You did?
Yes,
yeah,
I
like
really
nothing.
did.
I saw deflation.
I think you should check into something,
just
Brody.
deflated.
I felt nothing. I was like, all right, this guy's mom.